In a land far, far away, there existed a magnificent realm, completely covered in glistening snow, where a noble and kind-hearted monarch and his queen resided with their one and only child, the young princess. One day, a grand fair was to be held in a neighboring kingdom. People, merchants, artists, and caravans arrived from distant kingdoms for this fair. The king and queen also happily set off to see this fair with their daughter and handmaidens. The fair was incredibly vibrant, filled with colors and absolutely bustling with a huge crowd. Everywhere there were dazzling lights, charming toys, delectable sweets, and enchanting music. The little princess was utterly delighted to behold this wonderful spectacle before her. She grew tired from walking around and settled down beside a beautifully adorned cart. The cart was laden with garments and many presents, and due to sheer exhaustion, the princess drifted off to sleep right there. At that very moment, the cart's owner and his entire caravan, completely unaware that a young girl was sleeping soundly inside, took the cart and departed, heading back towards their far-off kingdom. No one had the slightest inkling that a royal princess was actually present within this very cart. When the fair concluded, people had already departed, each going their own way. The king and queen assumed that the princess was certainly enjoying the fair with her handmaidens. However, when a considerable amount of time had passed and the princess was nowhere to be seen, everyone became quite anxious. A widespread search was launched in every direction, but it was already far too late. By that point, the princess had already traversed the lands of many different kingdoms. The king and queen were utterly devastated and broken, for fate had cruelly separated them forever. Meanwhile, the princess found herself in an unfamiliar kingdom, where she was raised just like any other ordinary child. She had no recollection of her true parents, yet, deep within her heart, a peculiar sense of emptiness always lingered. And so, every Christmas Eve, she would offer a prayer. If only I could have my mother and father. It was a silent Christmas night, with snow gently falling all around. The little girl, as was her custom, looked up at the sky, and in her heart, she whispered a prayer. I wish I could find my real parents. At that very moment, Santa Claus hears the genuine prayer she offers. Santa Claus then resolves to do his utmost to fulfill the heartfelt wish of this young girl. Santa Claus, with the aid of his extraordinary magical powers, sets off on a journey to find her true parents. He eventually reaches a distant kingdom where a king and queen have been yearning for their missing child for many, many years. On this very Christmas night, the king and queen are also silently praying for their daughter. In the palace, her memory is still fresh even today. Seeing all this, Santa Claus realizes that these are the parents whose prayers are connected to this little girl's prayer. Santa Claus then returns to the little girl and, as a gift, presents her with a beautiful glass globe, a snow globe or dome. Inside this globe, snow is falling, and a magnificent castle has been constructed within. In front of the palace, the king, the queen, and a small little girl are standing together. When the little girl shakes this globe, the snow inside intensifies. She gazes at it with deep concentration. Her heart feels a peculiar, strong pull, and she exclaims in utter surprise, I don't know why, but I absolutely have to go to this very place. Santa Claus then smiles gently, for he knows that this magical globe is not merely a simple toy, but indeed the very first step on this little girl's path towards her true destiny. The girl held the glass globe in her hand, gazing at it for a long time. A strange restlessness stirred within her heart. The next morning, she spoke to her farmer mother, who had lovingly raised her for many years. He said it in a very low voice. Mom, I don't know why, but my heart tells me I must go to this one place that exists somewhere on this globe. His farmer mother saw the truth and a deep longing in his eyes. Despite her heart being heavy, she said, If your heart is calling you, then go. May Allah protect you. The little girl took the globe with her, and approaching the market and palace of that kingdom, she began to ask people. She showed the globe to everyone, asking, Do you recognize this place? Some didn't know, but eventually she spoke to the soldiers of the kingdom's court. An old soldier carefully examined the globe and, startled, said, This must be the royal palace of the distant kingdom of Snowell. It's a journey of many days from here. His heart started racing upon hearing this. The young girl took control of the horse and firmly clutching the globe, she commenced her journey. The road was not an easy one. Instead, with every single step, a fresh challenge presented itself. First of all, she journeyed through a very dense forest. The canopy of trees was so thick that sunlight couldn't even reach the ground below. On the way, the horse nearly slipped many times, but with her courage and sharp eyes, she kept avoiding all the dangers. Some spots were so incredibly narrow that she had to back the horse up, head first. After navigating the dense jungle, she faced the daunting task of crossing a vast, icy mountain. The snow was so incredibly deep and bitterly cold that with each step, it seemed to let out a piercing shriek. At every turn, the horse's hooves were slipping precariously, and the wind was so fiercely strong that her cheeks were completely frozen solid. But the little girl, gazing intently at the globe, continued to fortify her unwavering spirit.
After crossing the mountain, they came upon a broken bridge. Below, a deep river flowed, and the water was freezing cold. The wooden planks of the bridge were swaying precariously. The little girl guided her horse very slowly, and in her heart, she prayed for God's protection. Once safely across the bridge, she took a long, deep breath, laughed, and a wave of pure joy swept through her heart. Finally, after many long days of arduous travel, she arrived near the grand palace of the Snow Wheel Kingdom. The moment she first saw the palace, her heart began to pound, because it was the very same palace she had seen inside the globe. Upon reaching the palace gates, she instinctively touched the small golden locket hanging around her neck. This locket had been with her since childhood, but she never knew its true worth. The moment she saw the locket, a strange calm filled her heart. She felt as if she had been searching for this very place, as if this was the destination she was meant to reach. At that very moment, the king and queen noticed her. The moment Malika's gaze landed on that locket, she stopped dead in her tracks. Her breath seemed to catch in her throat, because she had recognized this very significant token. Malika Bektia stepped forward with trembling hands. She took hold of the locket that was hanging around the child's neck, and through her tears could only manage to say, "My daughter." And just like that, years of separation finally came to an end. Each Christmas night, the young girl would gaze intently at her cherished globe, silently murmuring to herself deep within her heart, "On this special occasion of Christmas, true miracles are known to happen, and the most sincere desires of one's heart can truly be brought to fruition." If you found this heartwarming story enjoyable, please show your support by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and do share your thoughts in the comments below about how much you liked it. Your one like and subscription gives us the motivation to create even more beautiful and interesting stories. We will meet again soon with a new story.